Let's see if we are. Get our Trello up. Let's see what's going on. Okay, cool. We're working. Alright, let's get started. Start the recording. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of make a Trello-ish. So I have right now this Trello board with like suggestions for videos and like kind of my like what I would like to do, what I'd like to create, some ideas people have had that I want to see get created, and I've just kind of put all that stuff here. But there's something I don't like about this. One is the whole voting thing does not work very well. For example, I'd like it to auto sort by votes, but I have to. That's something I have to do. It's like, come here, vote. Notice how it's at the very bottom, even though I'd like it to be like right here. So it's not auto sorting, and like there's just like a lot of different things that like be cool to do that I can't because I don't own this site. So basically, I'm gonna make a suggestion board. Maybe it's gonna look kind of like Trello. It's not really gonna be Trello, but that's what I'm gonna make. I'm gonna call it Baklava. The repo is gonna be here. I'm gonna add this to the description for the stream and for YouTube, so you guys can follow along, see what's going on with it. And yeah, let's just get started with this. So I have right now an application that I'm going to go based off of this, and that is this guy. So if I go to repositories, we can see this template. So I'm going to start off with this template. This is going to be the back end. I'm going to start with the back end today. Maybe we'll get to the front end. I first want to, let's create a Readme. Yeah, let's go ahead and create a Readme. So I'm going to just copy this, and I actually want to, let's make a folder for this first. Bach. There we go. And now what I can do is we can paste that in. So we're going to create a README and then push it up to GitHub. So now we should see that here. Cool. So the first thing I want to do is just like start with the back end and the models that we're going to create. So this is the template that basically has the GraphQL stuff that I want to use. I did a bunch of different stuff with this, but I want to start with, I think data loader is the one I want, because I don't want to do OAuth, I don't need Next.js, register user. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and get Next.js login is the one I want. Actually, when you clone, it doesn't even give you the one you want. So actually, I'd like to start off, I'm going to remove Baklava actually. Git clone this, and I'm going to call it Baklava. And we're going to go into it. I'm going to remove .git. And then what I want to do is grab this. So I'm going to add this as the remote repository here. That way we can grab git remote add origin. Not git init, git remote add origin. There we go. So we added that as a remote repository. I also want to open this project up and just like cut out a lot of the code that I don't need. Because I know I don't want to do Facebook OAuth, at least at first. But actually, what the heck, I could see myself wanting Facebook OAuth later, so I'm actually not going to cut anything out for now. For a second, I was just going to cut out some of the garbage I didn't need, but like, I actually kind of want to keep this because I actually want to keep OAuth. So let's git checkout I think it was branch 14. Oh shoot, we needed to switch branches first. So I told you I wanted to start from the 14th one, right? So I'm gonna have to reclone this and redo it. I forgot to switch branches. When you clone a repository at first, I didn't call it baklava. Git clone baklava. There we go. So now we can get checkout and the 14th branch. All right, cool. Now if we see in code, now we should see a lot more stuff, and we do. Cool. So for this, I want to get rid of the .git and the readme. We're going to add our own. And that's when we do git remote add origin. So we're adding a remote repository, which is this one. And then I'm going to push the code up. First I have to do git init. Alright, so we have that. I'm going to pull. You always want to pull first so you don't break anything. Git pull origin master. And cool, we see the readme here. Commit. Let's actually get checkout branch. Let's actually start this. First live stream setup. We'll just call this setup. So this is the first live stream. I'm going to create a new branch called setup. And that's where I'm going to do all the setup for this. So git add all, git commit, grab template. So the first thing I did was grab, spelled template wrong. That's fine. Git push origin setup. All right, so we have this, I think, all set up. And I just want to make sure I have ESLint set up nicely too. We're extending Airbnb base, plugins, import. Yep, that seems fine. And now we should see all our code here too. All our stuff. If I go into setup. Cool. And we do. So now in master here, should we write out a readme of what we want this to be? Let's just write a quick readme, and we can add this to later. So this is going to be a Trello like web app like Trello for suggestions. Make the commit. We actually need to grab this from master and push it in this other branch too. Git checkout master, git pull origin master, git merge, yep, git checkout, git merge master. All right, now both branches are at the same level. Push them both up. All right, now let's create our models. So I already have some sort of model. Here's our user right now. This is a decent user model. We'll have a username. We'll have an admin feature, which an admin will pretty much just be me basically, or maybe it'll be someone else. Associate, they'll have boards, you can create suggestions, that's fine. Local auth, we need that, that's all well and good. That's fine too. Here is our database stuff. So we should probably create a new user and stuff for the database. So let's look up how to do that. I always forget, create user. Okay, let's create a role. Create user. Stack Overflow usually has the better answers. There we go. So I'm going to go into pSQL and create user. I first want to create database baklava. And then we also want to create a baklava admin with password celery. All right. And then we want to grant all privileges to our guy. So grant all privileges on our database, which we want it to be baklava. And then we said baklava underscore admin. All right, so that is all set up. So now we want to change it here to reflect. So baklava is the name of the database, baklava admin, and then celery is our password. Okay. Now I just want to get the schema and the resolvers in order. And once those are in a pretty good place, I think I'm going to get started on the front end. Subscription is fine, I think. Schema, mutation, date, login. You know what? I don't even know what I want in the back end yet. I think I'm just going to start creating the front end. And as I'm doing the front end, when things pop up I need, I'm just going to add it to the back end. All right, so I need to write a commit message. What did we just change? We just added set up DB credentials. All right, so I'm going to open up a new tab in iTerm here. And I'm going to do create React app. And this is, what should I call my client? Should we call it Philodough? I don't know how to spell philo. Let's do Rosewater. So I'm going to call my front end Rosewater. Actually, we'll just call the front end Rose. That's fine. Okay, so we have that creating. This is going to be our front end. I'm going to do it in React. I'm going to use create React app because I love it. And we're going to set up, the first thing we're going to set this guy up with is React router. And we don't want to do server-side rendering, just regular React router. And then we also, what's the other thing we want to set up? Apollo client, definitely. We don't need this. Bye. And we can close our back end, at least for now. Oops. I'm going to do npm start to actually make sure that boots up okay. Probably should have done this first, but it looks like we're good. Looks like it's being super slow to set up this. And our app crashed. Oh, and that's because I didn't ever run yarn or npm to install the dependencies for this. But now we are. So that's good. Okay, so we need React router and Apollo client. React router is going to be able to navigate different pages, and Apollo client is what's going to allow us to make GraphQL connections. Let's go to web. Apollo client. It's downloading here, downloading here. I think I might just be like killing my computer a little bit with all these downloads. Okay, so Apollo client, we're going to install. You actually don't need to install GraphQL tag anymore. This is an old Readme. We'll go to their documentation that's more up to date. Go to our quick start. Nice, they use create React app, so do we. Yep, and we're going to do yarn add React router DOM. Alright. Looks like we're getting closer to done. How's our yarn doing? See, this is why I love yarn. Look how much faster yarn is. Even though npm 5 is doing like a very similar thing to yarn now, I feel like yarn is still faster on my computer. So I'm not sure if they're just doing something different. Like not just this example, they might be installing more libraries with create React app, but just in general, that's something I've noticed. All right, start this guy up. Let's see if he works. If he does, then we can just leave it for a little bit and connect him later. And actually, okay, you saw this junk spit out here. That means it started up, and these are the queries that it makes on the database. I'm going to open up another tab because we can already cd into the directory. It's just installing the npm packages for rows. And I'm going to say code I. And I also need to create a GitHub repo for the front end. So let's create that real quick. Call it rows. And create. Everything is booting up. When that is done, we're going to do yarn add React router DOM and also Apollo client. And look, it's all done. Cool. We have yarn installing those. We can go ahead and do npm start here. And no, we can't because we're not actually inside of baklava. I mean, not baklava, rows. Do npm start. And not sure what's going on with Visual Studio Code here. Create the repository. So we're using React. So we'll grab that. And we can just copy this. Oh, baklava is on the same port. Yeah, we're fine running it on this. I should just change the port that baklava is on. Yeah, let's do that real quick. So I'm just gonna open it in Vim real quick. So let's do index. And I'm gonna run this on port 3030. That way this guy can be on any port. Looks like I'm missing something. That's fine. All right, start up baklava. Can't resolve ESLint loader. I also want to set up ESLint. So let's do ESLint init real quick. I am a big fan of Airbnb. And set up with JavaScript. It's going to install all these plugins. It's going to install them at the wrong level, so we're going to have to reinstall them. If we go to ESLint Airbnb, it will actually tell us how we can fix it. They have a nice little script for OS X that auto fixes all of them. Here's our Apollo client. I'm going to get this set up with getting started. Yeah, setup and options. We're just going to point out our GraphQL server that we have up. It's up and running nicely. That's installing those. Did Visual Studio Code ever start up? It didn't. I'm going to close it, reopen it. Alright, so ESLint Airbnb. Whenever the ESLint init is done, we'll see. Okay, I'm just going to let this guy sit here for a second. Got that loading. We can close We might need React Router, so I'm gonna leave that open and close this. I want to set this up on the GitHub page in a second. All right, so here I can use this script right here to set up ESLint Airbnb. So when that's done running, I'm going to rerun it with this because ESLint init installs actually the wrong versions of each one. And I already did a React Apollo. Actually, I installed the wrong one. I'm pretty sure I installed Apollo client, which is not what we want. I want to React Apollo. Yeah. So I'm going to do yarn remove Apollo client and do yarn add React Apollo. Okay, we're still installing the ESLint stuff as it's installed. Cool. So now we want to run this. This will actually fix what version we are of each one of those ESLint packages because we got the wrong one. Apollo client's getting removed, and then we're going to install the right one. And then what we're going to do is in our code we can set up Apollo client, and we'll be able to connect. So I'm going to do yarn add React Apollo. We got this going. Cool. Looks like that broke. Why is that? Missing write access. Maybe it's because I have yarn open running at the same time. That's probably what it is. So I'm going to let that finish before I start. Okay, did Visual Studio Code pop up? Cool. Now we can start setting up React Router and whatnot. I'm going to first get rid of some of the things I don't need. So app test, don't care about. Index.css, I don't care about. Index.js is fine. App.js, I don't care about. App.css, I don't care about. Logo, I don't care about. And lastly, register service workers, I don't care about. I'm not trying to make a progressive web app here. Okay, so with that said, we can remove those three. And everything's red right now because ESLint was installed at the wrong version, which it's going to get fixed. Let's see, is yarn done? It is. So I can rerun that. So here, what I like to do is I like to create a routes folder, and inside of that create an index route, index.js, and that's where all my React Router stuff's going to go. And then here I'm actually going to create an app, and we're going to wrap it with the Apollo provider. And I'm going to try not to use, what's it called? We should not close it like that. I'm going to try not to use Redux for this and see if we can get everything working without it. So now I'm going to import this index route here. So routes from /routes, and then that is going to be what's rendered here. And then we can import Apollo provider from React Apollo. All right, let's see how our download's going. It's on its way. And when that's set up, all the red will go away. I'm going to wait on setting up Apollo client first. I want to set up React Router and get a page up so we can make sure everything's all good to go. So let's import these guys. We can do this in our index. And I'm also going to use a switch. Switch lets make sure only one is getting run, which is important. Only one route, whichever one matches. So import React from React. and then here we're going to export default, and then this is where we're going to put all our routes. So we're going to have a browser router, and then inside of that we're going to have a switch, and then inside switch we can have all our routes. So routes, path, this will be our index route, and we want it to be exact, and we're going to say render, and there's no props that I want to pass to it for now, so I'm just going to render a home component. Okay, cannot read file, we'll fix that in a second. Home.js, import React from React, export defaults, home. So let's get everything wired up, get rid of all these errors, and see if we can see that. So we got that, and then our index page here. It looks like ESLint was successful now. Cool. Nothing else is running here. So now to get that working, I have to close that, reopen it, and now we should see ESLint working properly. And that will let us do everything we want to. And if we come over here, I think I set up the router correctly. I might have to add a div somewhere if something doesn't work. I think everything is looking good. I don't think we have any errors or anything. Let's do npm start and see if we start up okay. Next thing I want to do if this does start up is get material design set up with this, because that's the UI framework I want to use with this. Okay, so failed to load plugin flow type, ESLint plugin reference. We're not even using ESLint. Not sure why that is missing. Usually when stuff is missing like that, if you just do yarn or npm install, it'll go ahead and grab it. So we can see if that fixes it for us. Looks like we're installing some dependencies, so that's good. Where is code? Put that, like, have Visual Studio Code in between those two. I'm going to add some stuff to our ESLint RC. I'm going to use the JS extension, not the JSX, but ESLint doesn't like that. So React/JSX file name extension. So to get rid of that little warning, what we can do, say rules, and actually rules I think is an array. No, it's not, it's an object, because you have to say whether or not you want them. So that was React/JSX file name extension, and we don't want it, so we put a 0. Expression expected. Does it just want a comma there? Not sure. Is there an error here? Nope, looks okay. Now, is it still popping up? Maybe if we save JSX-file name-extension. File name-extension. Oh, we added it. I don't think I have to restart it. We'll see in a second. Now that yarn is done, I can do npm start and see if this will build. Hopefully it installed that plugin for us. If not, we'll just actually add it. See if ESLint's detecting anything else we need to change. You'll notice I'm using ESLint and Prettier together extension for this, you'll notice how everything just reformatted itself. It does that by default. So it's missing a semicolon. I think Visual Studio Code is just lagging a little bit maybe. Okay, we definitely got rid of React/JSX dash file name. React-JSX dash file name. Oh, we got rid of it. It's still there. Register is undefined. Oh, get rid of that. You'll notice it didn't recognize document. We need to set document as a global. I think it's just globals like this. So window is one you can usually do. We're going to do document. So if we put 0 there, should get rid of it. I kind of want to restart my Visual Studio Code and see if that'll fix it. Let's see what this is doing. Const app. We can just pass it in like that, I believe, since this is not really a component. And that should fix it. Oh, we need to pass it a client. We'll do that in a second. I want to make sure home renders and we have React Router set up. And when we know React Router works for sure, we can get Apollo client. Cool, React Router is working for sure. So let's pop back over here and get Apollo client set up. So to get Apollo client set up, we can close you, we can close you. We're going to run this. Alright, so here you specify where your GraphQL server is. For me, it is at localhost 3030. That's the server we just set up. Our client here, and then we can pass client equal to client. Alright, so now we can do GraphQL things. Apollo provider, Apollo provider. We just need to add it to our import here. Let's see what's going on with that's some more red lines. That's annoying. Okay, we're all good. Let's see what, I'm not going to worry about those for now. I think we're doing fine. Okay, so we have GraphQL set up. The next thing I wanted to do was Material UI. I'm going to close React Router. So there's two things we have to install to get Material UI set up. So installation, we have to install this. So yarn add React tap event and then Material UI. And then what we can do if we go to usage, and actually we need to copy this, and we can add that to our index here. And I'm going to get rid of the comment. We don't really need the comment. Is we're actually going to do a provider similar to how we added an Apollo provider that just wraps everything. Alright, so theme provider, and put that on the outside. Cool. So now in our components, in our home component for example, we could use React or Material UI components. So if I go to components here, go to text field, I can see I can add these. So what I think I'm going to do is create a sign up page next. And when it doesn't recognize stuff, oops, it's just because we had a typo, but sometimes it can be because you need to restart the server because you added some packages. Search keywords to learn more about the error. Okay. Let that go. Text fields are what we're going to add. So that's going to be on. Put code back in the middle. So create a register route. And that's going to be, you can add that here, /register. And here we're going to show the register route. So then, in register, we're going to import React from React. And then here, I'm going to do class React. No, yeah, actually we want to make it a class, but we don't want to call it React, we're going to call it register. I was trying to debate whether I want to do pure function, but there's going to be a form on this page, and I just want to use a regular React form. So we're going to do it like this. And then not from extends react.component. And then we're going to have a state. I'm going to have a username, a email, and a password. And then we're going to have a render function here. And that's where we're going to put our text field and stuff. So that's going to be, we're going to open this up, grab that. Did not copy that. There we go. So return, and I'm just going to render one text field and make sure it shows up. So we can copy you. And oof, it just broke. And that's because we have two adjacent JSX tags, just like it says. So you have to wrap it with a div. And what that meant is we have a break tag and a text field, and you need to surround it all by a div. Okay. So now here we have /register. Oops. We should see our application or our material UI, and we don't. We see home still. So that makes me wonder if in our routes, put register, need to make sure to actually get register. All right, refresh. And we forgot to export default. So in our register, here we need to do export default. Cool, and we see our field. And it looks nice and pretty because it's material UI. So we have hint text here. Let's make this a form, not a div, because we're going to have form stuff in here. Hint text, I'm going to say username, name is going to be equal to username. And we're going to copy and paste this 2 times because we also want an email field. And then a password field. Capitalize both of those. type, we want to make password, that way that when you're typing it's hidden. And then we want to say there's two other things. Value is going to be equal to this dot state dot username, and that one's going to be email, that one's going to be password, email, password. And then here I'm going to do on change, do e dot this dot on change, passing in e. That's how we're going to update this state. We're going to create an on change function. This dot on change is equal to e, and then we're going to do this dot set state. We're going to say e dot target dot value equal e dot target dot value, and value is not value, that should be name there. And the name here, it matches up with the name here, and that'll update the state here. So let's see these guys in action. Typing works okay. Awesome. And I just want to add break tags in between each one so we can have some space. And then I'm going to add a button at the bottom. So if I go back to Material UI, I can grab a button. Ruiz button. And at the bottom here, we can then add that button. I like the look of the primary button. You can grab that. Primary is going to be true, so here's another way of saying true is just sticking out at the end like that. Label is going to say submit, and then on click is going to be this dot on submit, and then create an on submit function. And then here for now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say console.log this dot state, and I'm going to make this actually going to be fields. That way it's easy to grab if I want to add more things to the state, which we will be later. So then here will be fields, and this will be this dot state dot fields. So we're keeping whatever the field was before and then adding this onto it. And then we need to make sure to change this to fields here. And on our password. So now if I type some stuff in our form and I hit the button, we should see a console log. Username, Bob, hit submit. Cool. We see everything here. Alright, so I think this is a nice little stopping point. I was going to go longer, but I'm actually feeling kind of tired. So what I want to do is I want to just add this to GitHub real quick and then quit here. Okay, it's just telling us our local network state. So okay, so get rows, we didn't even make. So then git init it. I'm going to do an ls, see if there's a readme already. Remove the readme because I know the readme, oops. I know the readme was associated to create React app. So go ahead and add that, push up, and git status, git checkout. We're going to branch over and create, this is going to be setup. So this is going to be a setup for the first one. Git add, git commit, setup, create React app with React router. React Apollo, and Material UI. So that's some pretty good stuff, right? That's a pretty decent amount of setup, I would say. Let's go ahead and push that. And if I refresh, I should see the code pop up here. And if I go to setup, cool. And why not? Let's get checkout master, get merge, get, oh, there's no other get, unable to create, file exists, get status. Oh, node modules. I think I forgot to get ignore that. No, it did not add it. That's really good. For whatever reason, the master route has nothing in it. Oh, that's fine. Well, I mean, it's not fine. We need to get merge. Them.getIgnore. Alright, we're having a little bit of get fun. So get, ignore that. Get at all, get commit. Ignore node modules. Get merge one setup. Merge conflict, that's fine. So we got a conflict because I changed what was in the dot get ignore. We're just going to take exactly what was here before. And then get status, get commit. We're going to add all, and we're going to merge. Get status, cool. Get push origin master. I'm going to get checkout, our setup, get merge master, so everything is on the same, and then push up setup. All right, cool. So we have everything up on GitHub. Has too many active changes, only a subset. Oh, okay. It looks like this Visual Studio Code crapped up because node modules, too many. But we'll close that. All right, that is it for this stream. I'm going to put all this stuff, both of these GitHub repositories in the description below so you guys can see them if you want to check it out and link everything up. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.